Outlaws! Outlaws!
All right, so first game I ever played. This is actually a huge throwback. I don't know, the kids these days, they won't even know what I'm talking about, speaking another language here. But it's a Carmen San Diego. I used to play with my mom when I was like too little to even like play on the computer by myself. Like I'd like sit on my mom's lap and we play Carmen San Diego, and you like, you know, click on things. You're like a spy and you try and find stuff. Yeah, that's a classic game. But yeah, so that's the first game I ever played.
The first game I played, it's hard to say because I had a Game Boy growing up, but like the first like real game that I was like really competitive in, well not super competitive, but like me and my brother played it online and stuff, was called Star Wars Battlefront 2 for PS2.
The first game I do remember is Simpsons Road Rage. Like I have memories of the game somehow, maybe, I don't know how, but I was really, really young at the time and I played it. I really enjoyed that game.
Maybe Sudden Attack?
Sudden Attack을 처음 했어요?
Yeah.
태어나자?
Yeah.
Okay. Sudden Attack is a Korean FPS game.
My first memory of video games is probably like, so I have an older brother, so he was like the one that was more, like introduced me into gaming. So the first memory I have is like playing F-Zero on like a Game Boy Advance.
The first game that I can remember that I know the title of will be StarCraft maybe. Okay.
I would always play Quake 2 on my brother's computer. This was like 1997 or something. I was like 8 years old. I'd come from school and I would get on the computer. You have to go through dial-up, so that whole thing that no one even remembers that anymore.
The first game I ever played was Pokemon Yellow. My cousin owned it, and I didn't have a gaming console at the time, but I was visiting him, and so he let me borrow his Game Boy. And then I played that, and then I had to give it back. But that was my first gaming memory.
My first game was StarCraft. It's also from Blizzard, I guess. And my uncle teach me how to play the StarCraft, and yeah, that was my first game.
I don't know, my first paycheck is kind of surreal. Like you finally get that payment, you know, like just playing games, don't really feel like you're doing anything too special. Like it's something that you've always done and you just enjoy doing, but it's like, oh, now I'm getting paid for it. So it's like, yeah, it was an amazing feeling. I think it was a couple years ago when I first joined my first like amateur team, and they were, you know, paying me, and it was honestly just an amazing thing. And it was something that I could like show to my parents, to like prove to them, like, look at this, like I'm doing this just by playing games.
I didn't get paid a lot actually, but my mom still took it all. So yeah, I didn't do with it a lot of things.
Do you have it now, or is she still saving it?
Yeah, she's still having it.
Wait, really?
I remember, so the first time I got paid for being a professional esport player, being on a team, I think I like called my parents and talked to them about it. I mean, I was already in college at that point. The first time I got paid, I was able to like go to them and be like, this is real, and you know, just telling you guys like this is actually going on. This is like a huge part of my life now, and I didn't feel like I could go to them until I had that paycheck, that validation of like, this is real, and like there's somebody who's gonna pay me, you know, like a salary to do it.
When I first got paid to play Overwatch, I don't think I like bought something crazy or anything, but it definitely felt very rewarding. Like all of this time spent into this game and like improving and thinking about it and like just spending all this time finally got rewarded, and like it's finally led to something. And it was in contenders when I got my first paycheck, so it was like kind of proof to my parents, like, look, I'm getting paid to play this, so all this time isn't spent just wasted in my room. For them, at that moment, when I got my first paycheck, is when they started like supporting me hardcore and like, okay, we believe you, like you can do this, and they supported me a lot from that point.
First time I played on a stage in a live event would be at the Santa Monica qualifier for the Overwatch World Cup. I got to play on Team USA, which was like my big break as far as making it and like making my name in the scene. So playing on that stage, I was super hyped. I played super well, and that was when I never thought I'd be like too worried or scared to play on stage. But then when I first played on stage, I found that I played like even better than normal. I was like even more psyched to play than normal.
I remember my first LAN event, my first on-stage event was Overwatch League preseason, and it felt so weird. I remember my first preseason game, I did so bad just because I was like so distracted. I just could not focus on the game at all because I was not used to playing in front of fans on like a foreign setup. So I played really bad my first on-stage game, but then as the season went on, I like eased into it and did better.
My first LAN experience was actually at Gamescom in Germany. And so this was Gamescom is kind of like, it's a big gaming convention. It's actually, I think it's one of the largest gatherings of conventions of a type in the world, like a few 100,000 attendees in size, like there's a ton of people there. But the crowd the space they had like allotted for the Overwatch section, there was maybe 30 people in the crowd or something. It was still like exciting because, you know, I'm going backstage, I have to like walk through the bouncer or whatever, and he's like, stop, let me see your card and stuff like that. I'm like pro player, it says, and you know, they let you in, so it's kind of cool like that.
Like season 2 when I was on Vancouver, we had a lot of really dedicated fans, and they'd always like start cheers. I think that in terms of like seeing them from like the stage, we were able to play in a few stage finals and seeing like how super hyped they were about those matches was really awesome. And then obviously when the confetti is falling, it's super cool too because everybody's just cheering you on. So I think those times were really special.
So my favorite memory in Overwatch, and I think there's really a multitude for me. I had so many fun experiences, and I met so many cool people who are still my friends for years as a result. I never would have met otherwise. But I think my favorite experience overall is probably with Team USA in 2017. It was just a really great group of guys to play with, and I've been fortunate enough to pretty much all my teams I've gotten along really well with all of my teammates, but this group in particular was I think was extra special. It was really important too because the whole community was kind of up in arms against our roster. People didn't understand why we were chosen compared to like their favorite player or like their favorite streamer or whatever. But when we got on stage, we showed them exactly why, and that whole thing positioned all of us put a lot of eyes on all of us for Overwatch League, which is coming out really soon. It's like soon after World Cup. So like that propelled all of our careers.
The thing I'd say to Overwatch now that it's going away is, you know, thank you for the memories. You've definitely changed my life and helped me pursue something that I never thought was actually possible. So thank you very much. I'm excited for Overwatch 2, and I'm excited to keep improving and keep living out my dreams.